Welcome to the Android Headline Show, episode number 18. It's time to get your droid on with all the latest Android news and rumors happening in the past week. This week we're covering HTC's new Droid DNA, as well the new Google AR offering that might take over the world, Apple HTC deal, Nexus, Motorola Zoom, new Google wireless network, the Nexus launch, and as well our holiday gift buying guide and a special announcement from the Android Headlines team. Welcome to the show, everyone. As you know, this is a time where we talk about the week's happenings, and I have my special co-host with me. And let's start off with our Android diva from the Cheesehead State, Badger State of Wisconsin, Christina Gardner. How you doing, Christina?
I'm doing great.
How was your weekend?
It was really good, actually. I had a lot of fun.
Awesome. My other co-host is Alex, the Great Maxham, from the home of Eminem, 8 Mile Island, Detroit Rock City. How you doing, Alex?
Pretty good. How about you?
Doing good. Thanks for joining us, buddy. And finally, Tom the Duke Wilson, coming to you from a place near Buckingham Palace and the Manchester United soccer. How you doing, Tom?
Not bad, not bad. Are these the things that Americans know? That there's a palace, there's a football team, soccer team.
Beer and fish and chips and tea and biscuits and crumpets.
Castles. I think of castles.
Castles, yeah, we got some castles.
There we go. How's the weather up there, Tom?
Not too bad. No rain today. It was quite windy and pretty cold, but no rain.
Well, that's
now you said it.
I'm surprised. Truly surprised. All right, guys. Just a little bit of an announcement that I'd like to make. Actually, let's go into a whole big long story for the entire show about this. No. We would like to announce to our viewers at home and the readers of our site that Android Headlines has undergone a massive overhaul over the weekend of a complete redesign of our website. If you want to check out our AndroidHeadlines.com right now, you will see that we've completely overhauled the site with a fancy new flashing slider on there with nice big high-res pictures. We got a special featured section on there showing you all the latest top 10 articles, monthly rankings, and as well we have our Android news running through there. You'll see Android app reviews. We decided to go and do a slick new redesign, something a little cleaner, a little crisp, something that didn't look too busy, and something that was easy on the eyes. It's a lot different from our last design that we had, and we think you're really going to enjoy it. We spent a lot of time working on it, so we hope you really enjoy it. This feedback we've had on the site has been really great so far. All of the staff loves it. Alex, you love it?
Yeah.
Christina?
I totally love it.
Tom?
Love it.
All right, so there you go. You get thumbs up from the Android Headlines staff. And you know, it's been almost 3.5 close. I've been in the Android news business for near 4 years. I started off a small little blog on Blogger called Android News Canada back in the day when I was living in Canada. And things just started to blow up from there. I then decided to start AndroidHeadlines.com in the spring shortly after that, and that's been about 3.5 years ago. We've all gone through many changes, you know, and we'd like to thank all of our readers and as well our loyal viewers for sticking with us through this time and making us what we are today, and all the quality writers on the staff that have, you know, put out tons of great information to the Android community and keeping everybody up to date on the latest happenings. We're going to be bringing tons of new features, as well, expanding our site continuously on an ongoing basis. So I really hope you guys enjoy the new site. We did it all for you, and we hope that you continue to support our site as well too. And thank you very much for sticking with us through all these years. So now that the public service announcement is over with, let's get on to some Android news. Got a few what I like to call quick hits that we want to cover of what happened in the last week. And our first topic is from Tom Dawson. He covered the announcement of the HTC Verizon Droid DNA. Tom, this device, we talked the hell out of it last week. We talked it over. We've gone over all the specs. Finally announced it. When's it coming out? Let the viewers at home know. When are we going to be seeing this on store shelves?
Well, you can pre-order it now.
Okay. As you can see, Tom is fully ready for this. I just threw him on the spot. When's it ready, Tom? It's ready on November 21st. I'll help you out.
I was going to say I wanted to say 23rd. So it's a good job I checked. I could have misinformed everyone out there, and then you'd shout, and I'd be fired. So.
There's not really much more we can say too much about this phone, Tom. We've pretty well covered the hell out of it. But now
there's a notification light on the rear of the phone, which is something that's pretty cool, I suppose.
For sure.
And HTC have once again decided to put the technology of the future with a battery size of the past. So, well done, HTC.
Thanks for that plug. You're really making people want to go out and buy it now. A couple other little tidbits is that there's rumored that this phone will be showing up internationally as the deluxe version, it's called. Deluxe. So it is not going to be just a Verizon. Probably in the United States it'll only be Verizon, but you'll be able to get an international version. We're talking towards the end of the month, called the Deluxe, which will be the same. Also known as the Butterfly J. So it's nice to see how HTC is sticking with the simple naming process. But overall, the impressions we're getting on this phone, it's a beautiful looking phone and a high quality display. I would have loved to see this as one of those rumored Nexus 5 devices. How about the rest of you guys?
Yeah.
Alex?
Yeah.
Alex, would you have bought this phone over the Nexus 4?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love HTC's hardware.
Nice.
And then that screen is 1080p. It's just gorgeous.
Tom, would you like to see this as a Nexus device?
Yeah, I mean, if it comes as the deluxe, whether it's Nexus or otherwise, I think I might have to buy one anyway. So. Having stock Android would be fantastic. So yeah,
getting rid of that Sense would have been a beautiful thing. Christina, you're on Verizon. Would this be your upgrade? Is it going to be your upgrade?
I'm seriously contemplating it. So, I mean, I really enjoy the specs. I enjoy the way it looks. So, we'll have to see.
The mind-blowing display at 440 pixel density is unheard of, and you know what? This would have been a great flagship device. It's too bad that it didn't get the Nexus branding on it. Would have been a beautiful thing, but it's out there. Definitely, if you're looking for a new phone, this is definitely one you want to be checking out for sure, especially if you're on Verizon and you got limited choice. This is the phone. This is the upgrade for you. So let's move on to our next topic, guys. Our next topic is actually going to be this new Google AR offering. I have no clue about what this is. I've been busy, Nexus stuff, site redesign. So who's going to take the lead on this and inform the viewers at home on what this is exactly? How about Tom?
Please inform me.
Tom, tell us what's going on here with this. What the hell is
Why do I get strung up? Why is it that I know any more than this about
Because you're the associate editor on the site, and you must know everything.
Well, I try to.
Oh.
No, Google and this is the what's coming out of their Niantic project. It's finally broke loose, and they're bringing us a full-blown augmented reality location-based wonderfest of confusing gameplay, where landmarks and things are going to take. It's quite. I don't really know too much about it really. 'Cause I can't use it. I'm not in
looks
this.
like
Oh,
fireworks.
in the UK, so.
So I can't. But no, it does. It does look quite good, and there's some more sort of code. There have been some codes floating around Google Plus today that unlock XP and things like that. And around you, the game. If you get an invite code, there's only you have to be chosen to be invited through a code to play the game, and things. It ties into your camera, everything. I would like to play it so I can actually get my head around it, but apparently.
Let me see what I got here. It says the Resistance being the group that wants to fight back against the mysterious mind-controlling energy and enlighten who seeks to embrace it. Wow. So this is an augmented reality fantasy-based game, and it's quite taking off from what I hear, and a lot of people are interested in it. Did you want to chime in something, Alex, on that?
I'm still waiting on my invite code, so
Oh, you're special enough to get one, huh?
I haven't gotten one yet.
None of us have been invited. So
Thanks, Google. Thanks.
yeah. Well, anyways, I think we'll come back to this later on once we've played a little bit more with it. As you can see, we're very well educated on this new augmented reality game here, and we have so much information we can't even tell you all about it. All right, guys. The next thing that I wanted to cover up is back to our weekly patent lawyer talk with Samsung going after the details of Apple HTC deal. Now, Alex, this was your story, so I'm going to take it you actually know something about this. What was the deal on this, and what's happening?
Basically, Samsung wants to go after the details of the Apple and HTC agreement, which there really aren't any out publicly yet.
Now, this is actually a pretty important thing that's taking place, because for those of you who don't know, Samsung and HTC reached a deal, licensing agreement on some of their products, and those products, are now, they have, an agreement in place, and Samsung's still battling it out with Apple over, licensing agreements, of course, plus this big lawsuit. But the one major reason why Samsung wants these Apple HTC deal to become public, or at least find out what took place, is because a couple of the patents in this Apple HTC deal that are being licensed are ones that were used during the Samsung trial. And they used a couple of these patents to actually get bans on Samsung devices. So the importance of this would be in their trial that was taking place, saying that, well, they're willing to license it out to another company, but they want our devices banned because we're using it. So that is one of the main reasons why Samsung wants to find out the details of this. And as well, it also could potentially be, the information that takes place in there will help them in sorting out the financial mess, and as well some of the legal litigation that took place, so they can figure out if they've been overcharged, if there was problems with the settlement that had taken place, and these bans. So definitely this is kind of an important part for them. And for those of you that may have not seen last week as well, the lawsuit between Apple and Samsung also included a few more devices. I believe that the Galaxy S3, the Note, not the Note 2, but the Note was included in on that. And one other device as well was included, and the iPhone 5. So you're looking at, this thing is going to drag out, and there's a lot more devices You know, Samsung's looking to, you know, go back because of juror tampering, going to be taking that in front of the courts. The stuff's not going anywhere. But it's still nevertheless important, and we'll keep you up to date on the latest news in regards to that. Let's move on to our next topic, and this is one that kind of came out just after the Nexus launches, and it has to do with the Motorola Xoom and the Nexus S. Tom, you had covered this, so what took place with regards to these two products?
The Moto Xoom and the Nexus S, bye-bye. No more.
Bye-bye. They stopped making them? Of course they stopped making them. Wow.
Stop making them. When with the rest of the code push of 4.2 to the Android open source project, Jean-Baptiste Caroux basically said that there is no support for the Nexus S and the Motorola Xoom, and that these devices should continue to use the 4.1.2 branch. So basically, 4.2 isn't designed for the Nexus S or the Xoom, which means that doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, the Nexus S and the Moto Xoom won't run 4.2, but they won't be getting an official update from Google, more than likely, because if it's not an AOSP, then they're not going to compile binaries for something they don't have source code. This is how it's always worked in the past. And realistically, the two devices have gone through a number of different updates. Of course, the Xoom has had it rougher than the Nexus S by being born into the world with honeycomb in the first place. But, you know, they've had a good run. And they've had a
good run. I'm sure the owners and the people still using them would love to see another update come, potentially, you know, 4.2, 5.0. But unfortunately, you know, in tech world, things move pretty fast, and time to update your device or root it. That's pretty well where it's at. It's at the end of its upgrade cycle.
Yeah, and people who've got the Nexus S and the Moto Xoom, by now, if they're still using it as a daily device or some way halfway there, they're already hacked 6 or 7 ways from Sunday anyway.
Exactly. So you'll be able to hook yourself up with some ROMs, and you know, you'll still get support for it. It just won't be through Google. The next topic today is actually a pretty big one, and it hit last week. Alex broke the story that had been running out from Reuters, I believe, and it was about Google's in talks with the Dish Network for a joint venture to use the Dish Network spectrum to create Google Wireless. This has been speculated for a long time, and it's something that is obviously on the burner now. And what are the details on it, Alex? What's going on with this story?
Well, Google and Dish, they're in talks because Dish Network has some wireless spectrum, which they've acquired since 2008, and they're looking to create a wireless carrier for Google, and Google's looking to do a data-only plan, probably use Google Voice for everything, and they might as well do it. They already have Google Fiber rolling out in Kansas City.
I mean, this is great. I mean, especially for Android users, having their own wireless network is super exciting. This is obviously still in the first beginning stages of taking place, and still rumored until a deal is finalized. But the potential for it is going to have huge impacts on the wireless industry in North America. I mean, Google has the opportunity to undercut other carriers in cost-wise, their offerings as well too, and you know, with their Nexus devices, I can't imagine that the wireless carriers are going to be too happy about this. What do you think the ramifications? I know you had talked a bit about potential ramifications, Alex. What's the word of what could happen because of this?
Well, when we posted this on Google Plus, we had naturally we had a lot of comments about it, for and against it. Some people brought up antitrust issues, which I'm not completely sure about how that would factor in. That's over my head.
Well,
there's an ongoing. Isn't the FTC already investigating Google for
multiple things?
Yeah, well, of course they are. I mean, you know,
Google does everything.
That's it. You know, you gotta go after big bad Google. But you know, they've been in trouble for the way they handle search results and so on. And I can't imagine that either the FTC or the FCC, for that matter, would really want Google to sort of, you know, if they have like, yeah, they've got one big basket of the internet. So if they keep on adding eggs to that basket, I don't think the FCC and the FTC are going to be too happy with one company having so much of a vested interest.
No, definitely not. There's you know, gonna have ramifications of it, of course, and I'm sure you know people will be out to block this. The potential, like you say, is the FTC getting involved to try and shut this down. But another one is also the carriers, because one of the problems is they're selling Android devices, and now they're going to be competing with Google, which they obviously they're selling their devices, but at the same time they're not going to be too happy about it because they're going to be in direct competition. Do you think that could maybe steer some of the carriers away from holding or selling Android devices?
I think this is one of the problems with having an open source platform like Android, because there's nothing stopping the carriers to sort of say there's nothing to stop the carriers producing all their phones with a stock build of Android without any Google. They can make Android phones without Google, and I think this might cause a rift. If the carriers wanted to, they could not sell devices with Google support. They could say to Samsung, yeah, sure, we'll carry the Galaxy S4 or the Galaxy S whatever, but you have to strip it of Google because we're not dealing with Google anymore because they have Google Wireless. And this could create a rift throughout Android, and the Play Store might wither and die, because realistically, if the Play Store is only on, say, like a few 100,000 users on Google Wireless, then,
I think there'll be more than a few hundred. I think there'll be millions.
Yeah, definitely. But I think the initial reaction is that when it comes to carriers, people loathe them. They love to hate them. Everyone has their favorite carrier or company that they like dealing with, but all of them have their little quirks. If you take Verizon, they have expensive plans, but they have great network coverage. You take Sprint, they have great plans but spotty network coverage. You have T-Mobile, they have some great prices but worse than spotty network coverage, right? And and then you have Ma Bell, AT&T, who have some not bad coverage, some great phone lines, and some not so great plans. So each one of them's got their drawbacks. And you take Google into the mix, and they maybe solve some of those issues and bring a lot of those Android users over. And with Android selling so many devices, there could be a good chance for them to take away certainly some large market share. As just from us getting our responses from people on Google Plus, it was like a #1 article at one point on Google Plus, and tons of feedback and people embracing it and wanting it. So there's definitely a market out there for another player. And T-Mobile this week even said there's 4 carriers and that's one too many. I think T-Mobile's probably
T-Mobile.
Maybe there's one too many in their own mind, and it's themselves. And that was a way of saying, we're for sale, come get us. I
wonder if that was a statement from T-Mobile or Deutsche Telekom pulling some strings. Just get out, just get out.
Yeah, and I think Google Wireless, would while it would only be data, and that might not be for everyone else, but the people who would be able to take advantage of this, obviously, in the urban areas, not rural areas, definitely this could be something that would kind of solve all of their needs. So we'll see. This is very early in the stage of taking place, but it definitely has a lot of buzz, a lot of traction out there. We'll definitely get some more out there. We're not talking about soon, anytime. I think if we were to make a guess, just a rumor, that this might be something we could hear about at Google I/O, at least an announcement. The rollout on something like this, I can't even imagine or speculate on how hard it would be to do, or at what stage they're even at it. So we won't jump too far ahead, but we'll definitely be hearing a lot more about this in the future. So and on a final note, I would imagine everyone in this lineup would probably sign up for it. Even Tom in the UK, if it was available to him.
Yes. No, I don't think I would actually. I can't live without voice. I spend far too much time on the phone.
But I mean, the voice would be on Google Voice, so maybe they have a
you'll be able to use your phone.
They're doing voice over data.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, Google Voice isn't even here in anyway, and as notoriously poor as 3G here in the UK is pretty good, but can you imagine relying on 3G for voice calls? Period. Like, there's no second chance. You can't
I got to tell you, Tom, I've just recently moved to Simple Talk, which is one of those carriers that piggybacks others. Here, and it's piggyback on AT&T. I'm using that service, works just great. But I've turned most of my cell phone usage all over to Google Voice, and I will tell you, the Google Voice quality is excellent.
Oh, I'm sure it is. And
it is, and I make long distance calls, and it's as clear as any other cell phone connection.
Yeah, I mean, you make me very jealous because. I love to talk on the phone. I don't know. I probably am one of the only members on staff that actually use their phone to actually talk.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No. But I like my voice off. I don't care. Anyways, go on.
But I mean, are you piggybacking? Is that MVNO? Is that piggybacking on T-Mobile or AT&T?
You can actually have a choice to pick.
Yeah, I know you can have a choice. But I know you can have a choice. But which one's yours? T-Mobile or
AT&T, which is a large network. And it's compatible with GSM phones, which was one of the reasons why I decided. So I wasn't locked into one
with the US wireless industry. I might not live there, but
no, I was letting the viewers at home, educate them, just not Tom Dawson.
Yeah. No. I mean,
now, boys.
I was thinking if that was T-Mobile and some of the speeds that Alex has been getting recently on HSPA Plus is just mind blowing. I mean, give me HSPA Plus and Google Voice, fine, but spotty 3G. I don't get 3G at home, so
terrible. And you know what? You're not the only one. I mean, it does happen. It does happen. The network
feels like I'm the only one.
It isn't always perfect. I mean, in the U.S., for example, we're on Verizon. And it depends on neighborhood to neighborhood whether or not you're even getting LTE. That some areas it's LTE, sometimes you got no bars. It's the coverages can be spotty. Anyways, let's move on from that topic. We'll definitely be hitting up that a lot more in the coming months as we get more information. Now let's talk. Last week we did a Nexus show where we covered all the Nexus devices that had came out, and the next day was the ordering. I just want to start off first before we get into the whole ordering of the Nexus devices that one of our guys here, Alex, was lucky enough to obtain himself a Nexus 4 device. Alex, can you show us that prized possession, please?
Only because he didn't pay attention in class. I'm surprised he didn't get caught.
Okay, don't be jealous of him. He got one. He was one of the lucky few. Can you turn it on? Give us a little more of a view there. Back it up a little. Give us a view so the people at home can see what a Nexus 4 looks like, because the rest of us can't.
Oh, Chris is better.
Back it up a little bit, but I can't see it. There we go. Ooh, not so great in front of a computer screen. Let's see that nice back. Okay.
There we go. Turn on brightness a little bit and it got better.
All right. Now let's see the back there again. All right.
Ooh.
Looking beautiful. Now, for those of you at home, it was a fiasco last week with this whole ordering process. And, you know, I love Google. We all love Google. We love Android. But when someone screws up, we're going to give it to them. And this is the time when someone deserves some crap, they're going to get it. Right now, we're looking at 3 weeks till, you know, this devices are potentially available. Last week, as you know, for many of you that tried ordering it, it was sold out within half an hour, approximately. People were getting server errors. People were trying to put them in their baskets. They couldn't even get them into their baskets. There was caching issues. And this just wasn't in the good old USA. This was in the UK, Australia. Everyone pretty well sold out within the matter of 30 minutes. I would have to say that, you know, while I believe that the device sold excellent and it did a great job in selling, Google was obviously not prepared whatsoever in the least for this launch. You know, they had one server running the whole thing that was crashing. You know, that's really amateur hour when you're talking about Google, you know, the tech giant, one server. And
wow.
You know, it baffles my brain that they had such poor infrastructure set up for it. The launch didn't even come out on time. You know, they didn't have a specific time. Just kind of flipped the switch. Everyone went crazy. Then the other issue here is that it seems like they obviously were not prepared for the orders. Let's face it, they weren't ready. They did not. They overestimated the popularity of it. Now you can say, well, how was Google to know that, you know, it would be this popular?
Well, that Google.
Well, look at how many
pre-orders. They should have done pre-orders.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that. But I mean, first of all, how many devices did they, you know, what did they make? 100,000 of them, and that was it. Like, you know, they figured, okay, we'll just make a couple, you know, and if they sell well, we'll order some more. You know, it was obviously, or 50 or 100. Nobody really knows how many devices were available. They sold out so fast. You know, we got to think that there was a low number just because of the sheer amount of people that didn't get the device to begin with. You know, it's the planning was horrendous, and you know, obviously they did not make enough devices. Somebody there deserves to get fired based on the poor launch of this. You know, the phone itself wasn't available. You know, I would say probably 95% of the people that wanted it. You know, maybe that's not an exact number, but from just, you know, trolling around on Google Plus and all the people that, you know, said they didn't get a device, it's obvious that I would say, you know, no less than 1 in 5 people got the device that wanted it. So there's obviously a supply issue. They announced this device. They knew this device was coming. How many months in advance did they have to ramp up production and be fully stocked? I mean, it was a really poor launch just from the get-go. The Nexus 10 had the same issue as well too. You guys want to throw your comments in on how you felt about the launch. We'll get to the pre-order stuff in a bit, but what was the launch? What was the launch? You know, what was your thoughts, Tom?
Well, I mean, you know, I woke up early to sort of cover to see when it would go live in the UK. You know, I thought it would go live, you know, in the morning of each region, which sort of turned out to be true. So my time early in the morning, you know, it went live, and you know, I wasn't even going to buy one. I was just, you know, sort of covering it, and within sort of minutes of it going live, the site was crashing. The server error, like it was having like a massive panic attack. And it's like, well, this is Google. This is the Play Store. You know, this is one massive. I mean, it's not as if the Play Store is the Android market of old. This is like, it's not just like, you know, that little vestibule of Google anymore. It is like a full-on limb of the company. It's something that you go to Google.com, it's there, it's on the top bar, play. You go to Play.com, you got to play to Google, and their servers completely just
that was horrendous,
terrible. And that was the UK. I mean, just the demand in the US would have been tenfold what we had over here,
And this was at like midnight as well too, or early morning. So it was quite amazing that the servers, were crashing everywhere in every country. It was pretty bad. Christina, you want to throw a couple of thoughts on there before we get to Alex?
I can't say I really paid attention to it. I definitely did see the comments though about the whole servers crashing and the lovely line of angry people who didn't get their phones. But other than that, I didn't pay attention.
Okay, well, let's go to Alex. Now, Alex, you went into the cover, and you've been watching Google Plus quite a bit. You were there from the get-go on it. What are your thoughts on this entirely?
It was just a mess.
It was a mess.
I'm surprised I didn't buy 15 of them because it kept disappearing from my cart over and over. And because of that, other people ended up buying like 10 of them.
It's horrible.
Oh, that's not fair.
But that's how they were going there and cancel them. So later in the day, if you refresh the page, they would become available again.
A couple would pop up.
Yeah.
Now, and there is a lot of angry people on Google Plus. Like, a lot of people were very angry about it.
There's a few petitions going on to get responses from Google for this mess.
Well, there's also there's the one that's going around right now is that they had next day delivery. What a fucking piece of bullshit that was. Because there's guys out there that I heard, and it's a small number of people that are actually getting their devices and are having a hard time getting it. And then the ones that did manage to pull orders through are getting notices of 2 to 3 week delays. So they've really botched it. Even the people that got through to make an order are having issues. Now, my whole problem with this is the way that they rolled it out. Now, the rolling out of it was stupid. They announced the device. Great. Now, wouldn't that be the time to maybe put in a pre-order page and find out how many fucking people are interested in buying this device so you could roll up some more, get the people, working in the factories, working around the clock, building some more devices because the demand for the pre-orders, you're seeing that. And maybe a waiting list or something, because basically what they did, they launch it. Oh wow, a lot of people like it. Oh crap, we can't handle the demand. Well, sorry, you're going to have to wait weeks to get this device. They didn't launch the devices. It's like they just announced the device, and you're going to get the device in about 3 weeks now, or potentially longer. I wouldn't be surprised if people are going to be lucky to get their hands on some of these devices before Christmas. The whole point of it was they should have had a pre-register for the device or a sign-up, money in the bank, whatever, throw some extra shifts on at the factories, turning them out quicker. Now, we're talking 2 to 3 weeks before they're even going to have stock in. And I don't think they're even going to be able to stock enough demand because of the large fiasco that they've done. And you're probably going to see another sellout. It creates some demand and some buzz around the product, but it really shows, Google's got a lot of improvement to do before they start selling devices. They can take a page out of Apple or whoever they want on handling pre-orders and device launches, and they certainly learned a lot with this huge fiasco. It was certainly amateur hour by Google and this whole Nexus product launch from the beginning. Now, I've thrown my 2 cents in. Tom, you want to throw a couple final parting words about this launch?
I don't quite understand why Google couldn't, like you said, I mean, there are so many things that they could have considered beforehand. Like Alex said, do pre-orders, a waiting list. I mean, yeah, sure, they have their notification page where you can put in your email address and you get notified, but
which I'll just interrupt you. Most people were not notified when it came on sale.
I was just about to say
I
mine.
still haven't gotten mine.
Mine came.
Because it's not on sale. The phone's not on sale. It's not available anywhere. It's a collector's fucking item that maybe 5% of people that want it actually have.
Well,
Sorry.
the funny thing is that my notification did come through about 2 hours after I saw it launch in the Play Store. Now, what's ironic about that is I wasn't planning on buying one anyway, and I had already seen them sell out. You know, it's just ridiculous. I mean, Apple don't have this problem. Nobody else has this problem. You know, I don't want to bring Apple into it, but it's not. It's 2012. It's not difficult for anyone, let alone the
servers should not be crashing, and you should have
exactly.
the demand for your fucking product by now.
Yeah, I mean, they are. I don't know last time I checked, but don't Google own a social network? The people sort of troll and sort of see what people are talking about and what's trending. So, like, for like the weekend, you know, like the weekend before the Nexus 4 launch came up, they couldn't do a quick Google Plus search for Nexus to see how many posts came up. That didn't occur to anyone.
The whole pre-order should have been done. They would have been able to gauge it. They would have been able to tell people in advance and let them know that this is what's going to be the potential for the device, instead of getting them angry right off the bat and having such a botched launch to begin with. And you know, really, this started back with Hurricane Sandy. It really threw a whole, wrench into the whole system where they weren't able to properly launch the device. They canceled their event, invited a guy over from The Verge, threw out a press release. Oh, here's the device. Oh, we're launching the device. Oh, wow. Imagine the excitement they created with that. You know, this is, a day where they could take a page out of Samsung. You put on a whole big event, show off the features, let people get excited about it.
Yeah.
They could have come up with an ulterior location. I guess they got this place in California called Mountain View. This is Google headquarters. They do all kinds of press launches and events there. I guess, they didn't have any Nexus 4 devices around. They could have went and showed it off, and created more of a buzz. But I guess they decided that they didn't want to create any more of a buzz because they didn't have enough devices manufactured in order to sell them in the first place. So they didn't want to create the buzz. And that fiasco from the launch event carried over to, the sales event. And you know what? Google's learning. And it showed that there was an amateur hour there. Somebody definitely was not, thinking this fully through. And they're going to have to definitely step up their game in the future, as they have a lot of disappointed fans, and they have a lot of probably lost sales now because of the result of it. And people are still cursing on G+. They're pretty upset about it. It's just, at the end of the day, it is a cell phone, and people shouldn't get so mad. But this is a billion-dollar company that has record profits and should be running like a well-oiled machine, not like some little Bob and mom and pop shop at the corner. This is not how Google does things or should do things. Definitely didn't do so well on it. Matt, Alex, any final parting thoughts on this?
Yeah, Alex.
I just hope they do better with the next Nexus launch, because the Nexus 7 was just as bad, but at least they did pre-orders.
Exactly, pre-orders. Let me throw something at the Google people at home that probably not watching this because we just bashed the shit out of you, but you fucking deserve it. But I'm going to tell you what you should do is, because right now you have no grasp on how many more devices you're going to have to sell, put up a pre-order page or put up a reservation page so you can understand how many fucking devices you need to sell.
Go on, Google.
Literally, there's a lot of people out there who want this device, and you don't even know how many. What are you going to do? Roll up, oh, it's for sale again, crash the servers, be sold out in another fucking hour? That didn't work so well. That didn't work so well. You know how that's going. So let's clue in a bit here. And
Oh, he's yapping.
let's get a pre-sale page on so you guys know how many devices to fulfill for the Nexus fans. You know, that are just like, what, order 50 million of them blindly? I don't know. Google, I was definitely not impressed, as you could tell.
Oh, wow.
Wow! Do you not think that they deserve that, Christina?
I do.
All right.
I do.
Okay, guys, that's my rant for this month. Hardcore. Somebody had to give it to Google, and I just did. Now, on a much more positive note, as we wrap up the show, our staff has put together a holiday gift buying guide. You can go onto our site, up in our main menu, and that holiday gift buying guide is going to walk you through all of the important gifts that you're going to need this holiday season. We have everything from your Android tablets to your Android phones to as well also your Android accessories, and we've priced them out nicely for you under $100, under $50, $125. So anything you need for your Android needs for a holiday gift guide is on our site. Check it out. You guys have put a lot of work and hard work into it, and I'm sure a few of the guys on our site are definitely going to be using that. Tom, what do you want for Christmas?
Do you know, it's a tough call. You know, I mean, I have my eye on the Nexus 10. I wouldn't, you know, is it a Nexus 10, a Chromebook? You know, something like that.
Something like that?
Yeah, I'm leaning. If we're talking like device sort of Android related sales, you know, I think I'm leaning towards a Chromebook, to be honest.
Okay, great. Christina, what's on your Android Christmas list for this year?
I definitely want a Nexus 10, and I want my Nexus 7 fixed for free.
All right. Alex, what's on your Christmas wish list this year for Android? What do you want?
The Nexus 10 and that wireless charging orb for the Nexus 4.
Sounds like a great thing. And for those of you who want a Nexus 10 and a Nexus 4, Santa ain't fucking bringing it to you anytime soon. But hopefully Google will hear this, and you'll definitely get it soon now. So guys, for in the meantime and in between time, that's it for the Android Headline Show. Thank you for tuning in once again this week. We'll make sure to get back to you next week with less rants, more news. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a good week.